Hello, dudes, dudettes, and all Duderino in betweenos. Today, we're looking at a little indie game called NightCall, an interactive novel, I think. Hard to really classify this game in a genre, but it's mostly about reading text like an interactive novel, so I'm gonna go with that. This is a game about solving mysteries from the front seat of a taxi cab, and while there are multiple cases to pick from for this impressions video, I've only played the first case, so that's all we'll be covering. You play as a taxi driver in Paris who was injured by a serial killer, and as the only person ever to survive the killer, the cops give you an ultimatum: solve the case for them or be arrested as the serial killer. You are given 5 suspects, a few files related to the murders, and must go about your job as a taxi driver, speaking with your passengers in order to collect information about the suspects. Now, you don't actually do any driving in this game. You're given a map of Paris with icons on it representing information points, gas station, and most importantly, people looking for a ride. When you click on someone, your icon moves towards them until you get close enough and are shown where they want to go, its distance, the price of the fare. This is important as you have a limited amount of time each night. Longer trips are going to take up more of that time. And money is important to buy fuel and pay bills at the end of the day, so these need to be taken into account. When you pick up a character, they will talk to you as you automatically drive to their destination. You are often asked to pick a response to something they say, and this could lead to learning more about the passenger themselves, a hint in the case, or just generally make them feel good and hopefully give you a tip. As you learn more about passengers, you can view this information in the Passadex, a database of all the potential passengers that is persistent across cases and playthroughs. In fact, after you finish the cases, you can just free roam to pick up passengers and hear their stories and learn more about them. You can pick up the suspects themselves at times, and they'll have a yellow glowing border around their portrait so you can't really miss them. Picking them up obviously is encouraged as they might give you an alibi or say something incriminating. There are also question mark locations on the map. These usually involve meeting a contact who will give you information. In some cases you might have to pay for it. But I did have a couple of them just flash on screen and disappear before I could interact. I can only assume that was a bug. Finally, there are the gas stations, where obviously you buy fuel, but you can also chat with the clerk who might give you some information or buy a newspaper, as well as some scratch cards which might win you a small amount of money. While driving to locations without a passenger in the car, certain events can take place. Some might reveal some of the player character's background story or are just weird, including a message from the future about a viral apocalypse that felt somewhat out of place. When you reach the end of the night, you are taken to the Corkboard with all your hints, which I have to admit I was a bit disappointed by. Hints are automatically connected to the suspects that they have any links to, so you don't have to do any of the work yourself. All you can really do is move them around, and there doesn't really seem to be a way to open up a suspect profile or a hint for more detailed information. So with all the reading you have to do, you would hope that the dialogue is well written and the characters and story are compelling. And I'm happy to report that yeah, the characters are very compelling. Many of them have nothing to do with the cases, but I found myself wanting to know everything about them and getting invested in providing them with the pleasant conversation, hoping to make their night slightly better. Not all passengers are good people, mind you, and I was very happy that the game gave you the option to tell them what I thought, even if it meant not getting any tips. For example, a pickup artist on his way to find new victims at the airport. I got to call an asshole. In fact, it's not just the passengers that are likable. The responses from the player-controlled cab driver really paint him as a likable person. He never really sounds judgmental or condescending unless I specifically choose for him to do so, and generally comes across as very caring. When it comes to the actual investigation, however, I'm a bit disappointed. It rarely felt like I was making any meaningful progress in the case. I mean, clues did come in, but rarely did I feel like I earned them, so much as just got lucky. And in the end, I don't feel like I had much evidence to pick the right guy, but pick the person I hoped it would be. The person I thought would make the best narrative sense. And happened to be right, even though I had very little evidence on the chalkboard linking to him. I mean, yeah, the game does specifically say it's not about the most evidence, but the most compelling evidence, but I still feel like I should have found some more. Narratively speaking, however, the case did come to a satisfying ending with a pretty cool final night. Graphically, the game is simple, with the interface being mostly just a map and icons when deciding where to go. There are cutscenes in a very stylish black and white that look great, and when you're driving you can see the passenger in the back of the car, usually doing some sort of loop animation, but occasionally emoting based on what's being said. Music is excellent throughout, fitting the tones of the different conversations and getting pretty tense at times when it is appropriate. I definitely see myself doing the other 2 cases after this video, and probably a few free roams as well after that too, because I really do want to see more of these passengers. I think overall the game is an easy recommendation. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed in the actual investigation aspect of the game, but the writing is top notch, the aesthetics and music are great, and overall, I definitely like it. So thanks for sticking around to the end, and hope you enjoyed the review. Normally for these first impressions reviews I tend to want to just cut out parts from the stream, the interesting parts, but being that it's a game of mostly reading text, I couldn't find interesting parts, so I decided to treat this more like an actual review. Either way, let me know what you think, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that crap, and feel free to check out some of my other videos. Bye!